Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today, we're counting down our picks for the most remembered and influential slices of guitar riff majesty.
Go, Johnny, go, go. Johnny, be good.
Number 30, 8675309. Jenny, Tommy Two-Tone. What constitutes quality riffage? Is it complexity, ease? How about memorability? 8675309 Jenny hangs its creative hat on a lick that's tailor-made for air guitaring in the mirror. One that's immediately catchy and stuck in one's head.
8675309.
The main verse riff to 8675309 Jenny also provides a nice power chord mirror image to that super clean sounding guitar section that opens up the song. This balance lends the music arrangements a natural flow, one that totally makes sense. Tommy Two-Tone truly struck upon power pop gold with this one, even if listeners with that actual number of 8675309 were none too pleased about its chart success.
8675309, that's it. No, wait, that's not it. Damn you, Tommy Two-Tone!
Number 29, Sunshine of Your Love, Cream. The iconic power trio Cream are largely known today as one of the progenitors of heavy metal, even if drummer Ginger Baker notoriously pushed back against this appraisal. And sure, the jazz and blues influences are still very much prominent on 1967's Sunshine of Your Love. Yet, the song's main riff also has this lurching, hard-hitting groove that feels both serpentine and laborious, like the footsteps of a rhino. This trudging dirge makes the most of both Jack Bruce's bass work and Eric Clapton's generational guitar playing. Meanwhile, the aforementioned Baker is his usual fantastic self behind the drum kit, driving that same riff with toms that sound like cannon fire. Number 28, Johnny Be Good, Chuck Berry. Rock music may never die, but it certainly had a beginning, with many journalists pointing to Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry as patient zero for the rock and roll disease. This energetic and hooky blues lick is played incredibly fast for 1958 and helped get an entire generation of young people out there on that dance floor. This accessibility has also made Johnny Be Good extremely coverable for just about everyone, from Judas Priest to Marty McFly.
Go, Johnny, go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go, go. Johnny, be good.
It's not at all hyperbolic to claim that Chuck Berry's guitar prowess inspired generations of players to pick up the instrument, and it's Johnny Be Good that helped pave the way.
Go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go. Johnny, be good.
Number 27, Heartbreaker, Pat Benatar. It may be true that Heartbreaker is a common song title for many historical rock bands, but the cream tends to rise to the top. Pat Benatar's Heartbreaker remains one of her defining tunes, a driving rock anthem anchored by Neil Giraldo's hard-hitting guitar. The song is actually a cover, having first been recorded by another woman, Jenny Darren, in 1978. That version is actually quite cool in its own right, but the arrangements for the Giraldo and Benatar version make what's already an aggressive song sound even more bold and brash. The latter's vocals also work in tandem with Giraldo's riffage to make what was already a great song even better.
You're a heartbreaker, dream maker, love taker, don't you mess around me.
Number 26, Don't Fear the Reaper, Blue Oyster Cults. There's never been any shortage of amazing riffs to be found within the discography of Long Island's ultimate secret weapon, Blue Oyster Cult. Take your pick: Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll, Godzilla, or Astronomy. They're all great. Meanwhile, Don't Fear the Reaper stands in the corner, beer in hand, just waiting to hand it off to the next hard rock wannabe that thinks they've got the stuff. The atmosphere here is electric, and BOC lay down haunting gothic grooves 1 minute and fiery guitar pyrotechnics the next. What can we say? They call them classics for a reason, after all. And yes, we'll have more cowbell, please.
I'd be doing myself a disservice and every member of this band if I didn't perform the hell out of this.
Number 25, Walk, Pantera. Never underestimate the power of simplicity. Some Pantera songs contain more complicated riffing than others, such as Cowboys from Hell or some of the material from the band's hair metal heyday. Walk, in the meantime, is anything but complex. A one-eyed riff that knows what it is and doesn't pretend to be anything else. It's muscular and to the point. A tough song with a tough riff doing tough things. Walk is a mindset of aggression, presenting the sort of metallic sound that inspired legions of power groove wannabes to try their own hands at the Pantera blueprint. Number 24, The Spirit of Radio, Rush. Every Rush fan retains their own particular sweet spot when it comes to the band's discography. The Spirit of Radio exists at the crossroads of Rush's earliest, most progressive-minded music and the commercial waters explored during the 1980s and 90s. There's a bubbling electricity to the opening lick by Alex Lifeson, an irresistibly energetic riff that immediately places us in a great mood. The Spirit of Radio is prog rock, sure, but it's also a hit tune that can appeal to pretty much anybody. Meanwhile, that riff at the bridge section really sells, pardon the pun, The Spirit of Radio, as a song that can be both progressive and hard rocking at the same time. Number 23, Rock You Like a Hurricane, Scorpions. The 1980s saw an about face from the former prog and krautrock leanings that classified the early material from Germany's Scorpions. Long, extended instrumental jams were out, and hard-rocking anthems were most definitely in, including Rock You Like a Hurricane. The Scorps clearly knew what they had with that main riff, a hooky and meaty-sounding number that immediately places the listener in a certain time and place. Big hair, big songs, slick production. Scorpions were officially playing arenas with a sound that was heavy but also melodic.
Here I am, rock you like a hurricane.
Rock You Like a Hurricane still sounds great today, too. A twin guitar anthem that sits proudly alongside other Scorpions killers, a la No One Like You. Number 22, Voodoo Child, Slight Return, The Jimi Hendrix Experience. No list of big guitar riffs would be complete without a visit from one of the most iconic six-string maestros, Jimi frickin' Hendrix. Purple Haze is undoubtedly a killer from the man's back catalog, but there's just something eternally cool and effortlessly slick about Voodoo Child, Slight Return. It's riffs, such as the one that opens up this tune, that carves in stone Hendrix's reputation as a guitar hero. Voodoo Child brings an over-amplified, bluesy swagger to the party, a song that oozes sensuality while also boasting a butter-smooth performance from Jimmy. It's a timeless cut from the classic rock era that still makes heads nod and lighters go up in the air. Number 21, Hell's Bells, AC/DC. To study the riff arsenal of AC/DC is to stumble upon an embarrassment of riches. That's because these Australian legends have been cranking out the voltage anthems for decades now. From the fan favorite Thunderstruck to Back in Black, AC/DC have delivered the goods. Hell's Bells is something a bit different, opening with a gloomy, tolling bell that seems to sound a mourning cry for the band's departed singer, Bon Scott. Yet, before long, that malevolent main riff makes its presence known and tells everyone that AC/DC are back, and they brought Brian Johnson with them. It's a 2.0 riff attack for a 2.0 era of the band that helped fly the flag for pure, unfiltered rock and roll. Number 20, Walk This Way, Aerosmith. Who doesn't crave a little Aerosmith to kickstart their day? Walk This Way may arguably be the band's best-known song, but that doesn't mean it doesn't deserve every damn bit of praise. A lot of this credit should be laid out at the feet of guitarists Joe Perry and Brad Whitford, who lay down such a thick and funky groove that it makes Walk This Way basically impossible to resist. A major success in the 70s, the track later helped revitalize the band's career when Aerosmith collaborated with Run DMC for a reworked version of this song in 1986. Number 19, Round and Round, Rat. Don't sleep on hair metal riffs, especially when they're coming from musicians as talented as Rat's Warren DeMartini or Robin Crosby. The genre was actually a breeding ground for skilled players who usually played as flashy as possible, but could also bring to the table a surprising amount of depth and texture. Round and Round boasts one of those instantly memorable riffs that's mid-paced and metallic, but poppy enough to create crossover appeal. The song also has a superb harmony around the middle of the track, really letting Crosby and DeMartini shine bright. This riff is a reminder that 80s glam metal wasn't only about big hair, but big hooks as well.
What comes around goes around.
Number 18, No One Knows, Queens of the Stone Age. The ghosts of the desert loom high over Josh Homme's riffing on No One Knows, an echo to the stars past with pioneering stoner rock band Caius. Queens of the Stone Age are comparatively more pop-friendly than Caius, but that doesn't mean that No One Knows rocks any less.
We get these pills to swallow.
In fact, we'd argue that the quirky arrangement of the song is part of what makes the riffing stand out so much. Homme knows when to get funky, when to go heavy, and when to let the song breathe. As a result, No One Knows is something of a pop stoner jam anthem for the ages.
But no one knows.
Number 17, Check My Brain, Alice in Chains. There had been a lot of mixed feelings for Alice in Chains fans when the band finally released their fourth album, the first without frontman Lane Staley, following his tragic passing. Thankfully, Black Gives Way to Blue had all the music elements their audience craved, along with new singer and rhythm guitarist William Duvall. Duvall actually brings a lot to the table here on Check My Brain, playing along with guitarist Jerry Cantrell for the song's heavy and sludgy main riff. It's a throwback to the band's early metallic period as heard on the Facelift album, and a welcome return to form from one of the greatest grunge pioneers. Number 16, Eye of the Tiger, Survivor. You know it, you love it, you can sing every word by heart. It's Survivor's Eye of the Tiger, and it's a perfect pump-up song for any occasion. Of course, this melodic AOR rock jam became iconic thanks to being featured as the main theme to Rocky III. But we'd like to think it would have been a hit regardless. It feels epic regardless of the context due to the impact and immediacy of that main riff. Guitarist and songwriter Frankie Sullivan keeps things anthemic and mid-paced. We defy anyone to hear Eye of the Tiger and not want to punch a heavy bag or engage in some kind of personal heroism. Number 15, Beat It, Michael Jackson. The king of pop may not have been hard rock or heavy metal, but he certainly knew a good musician when he heard one. Michael Jackson surrounded himself with the very best, both on tour and in the studio, which explains why he employed Toto's Steve Lukather on lead guitar for this track. The riffs on MJ's Beat It sounds as if it was brought down by the gods themselves. A killer and groovy staccato number that gives the song an authentically tough feel. Oh, and then there's the matter of that solo, a pitch-perfect example of Eddie Van Halen at his very best. It's the icing on the cake of this pop-rock crossover masterpiece. Number 14, Barracuda, Heart. It was the classic rock Gallup heard round the world. It's Heart with one of their best-known jams. So sing it with us now.
Ooh, Barracuda. Oh, yeah.
It's a radio staple for the Seattle-bred group and one that exemplifies that 70s rock sound that was so popular with fans.
Smile like the sun, kisses forever.
Guitarist Nancy Wilson actually revealed in a 2019 interview with Gear Factor that the killer main riff from Barracuda was adapted and borrowed from their touring partners Nazareth. Wilson went on to say that Hart heard Nazareth's heavy cover of Joni Mitchell's This Flight Tonight and liked it so much that they tinkered with their own tribute. The end result was rock music's most famous fish. The world has never looked at a Barracuda the same way since. Number 13, Paranoid, Black Sabbath. Here's a question. If Black Sabbath were the honest-to-goodness first heavy metal band, does that make Paranoid the very first crossover pop single for the genre? For better or worse, Paranoid has become intrinsically linked with Sabbath's iconic early period with Ozzy Osbourne. Of course, there's no denying the immediacy of that main riff, and it's even more crazy to note that the band basically wrote it in a matter of minutes. Yep, Paranoid was an afterthought for the band's then-titled War Pigs album. But it only took one listen by Vertigo Records execs to immediately change those plans, and voila! The Paranoid album was born. Number 12, Wasted Years, Iron Maiden. The next band on our list is better known for their melodies and guitar harmonies than riffs, but Iron Maiden should never be excluded from the conversation. The title track from the band's Power Slave album is a great example, while Wasted Years delivers the best of both worlds. The song opens up with a super melodic guitar run that moves into the relatively simple main verse riff. It drives Wasted Years into the memorable chords that serve as structure for the chorus, before that opening melody returns and joins the verse riff again for the solo. It's metal magic and an enduring hit for one of England's finest heavy exports. Number 11, Ain't Talking About Love, Van Halen. It's a song you've probably heard covered a million times by your favorite bar band, but you're still not sick of it. And to be honest, neither are we. Van Halen explored different musical moods, but many fans have preferred it when Eddie and company go full heavy metal on songs like Atomic Punk, and our pick, Ain't Talking About Love. It's a song that hangs its hat on that opening riff. But what a riff it is! An aggressive call to arms that basically serves up a Sunset Strip hair metal prototype in just a few notes.
Yeah, you're semi-good-looking. You're on the streets again.
Eddie may have initially dreamt up the track as a play on punk rock, but Ain't Talking About Love went on to become a classic rock staple. Number 10, Raining Blood, Slayer. Simply stated, Slayer is the sound of all hell breaking loose. The faint of heart need not apply for Raining Blood, a thrash metal masterpiece that truly is the sum of its creative parts. After all, you can basically take your pick of badass riffs in this beast, from that iconic and dark opening harmony to the breakdown to end all breakdowns just after the 2-minute mark. Oh, and did we mention that this song, minus the roughly 1 minute of rain noises, clocks in at just over 3 minutes? It's proof that you don't need any bloated posturing to create epic heavy metal. Slayer basically defines the genre. Number 9, Welcome to the Jungle, Guns N' Roses. Okay, so we easily could have given this 9th spot to any number of classic GNR jams, including Sweet Child of Mine. Ultimately, though, we settled on what has to be one of the best album openers ever, Welcome to the Jungle. Some songs just have that it factor, this nebulous power to put you in a specific time or place.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
In the case of Welcome to the Jungle, it's the 1980s Sunset Strip, Los Angeles sun, nighttime sleaze, and the hot neon of unrepentantly bad behavior.
Welcome to the jungle. Won't you bring it to me?
If there was any doubt that Guns N' Roses were truly living out the scenarios laid out in their songs, Welcome to the Jungle silenced them with a riff that screams, "This is the next big thing. Get used to it." Number 8, Money for Nothing, Dire Straits. Mark Knopfler isn't really about the flash. His playing style tends to be far more subtle. Dire Straits' lead vocalist and guitarist instead tends to focus on texture, melody, and finger-picking technique. That said, the main hook to the Money for Nothing riff is actually quite thick, by Knopfler standards anyway. The riff and its very 80s sounding synthesized production dates the song, but not really in a bad way. Instead, Money for Nothing brings a nostalgic smile to the faces of those who remember the decade, and perhaps imaginative musings of what could have been for those who weren't there the first time around.
That ain't working. That's the way you do it. You play the guitar on the MTV.
Number 7, Crazy Train, Ozzy Osbourne. Remember how we mentioned earlier that Michael Jackson always surrounded himself with the best musicians? The same could also be said of the Oz man himself, Ozzy Osbourne. That's because the former Black Sabbath frontman always sought out and employed the best guitarists around for his solo career. Jake E. Lee, Brad Gillis, and Zakk Wylde are just a few of the axemen who've played with Ozzy. But the hearts of many fans lie with the dearly departed Randy Rhoads and his work on this classic Ozzy track, Crazy Train.
But that's how it goes.
Rhoads permanently left his mark on popular culture with this song. Crazy Train's main riff is a hook that just won't let go. It's a classic that's endured for a reason. Number 6, Master of Puppets, Metallica. Is Metallica's Master of Puppets the perfect thrash metal song? If not, we're not sure what is. This title track from the album of the same name is a veritable treasure trove of great riffs. From the charging opening salvo to the twin harmony bridge section, Master of Puppets is all killer, no filler. This is due largely to the impeccable arrangements of James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich, who make sure that no riff overstays its welcome, while also creating mini movements that drive the song ever forward. Hetfield's down-picked rhythm playing is arguably at its best here. Master of Puppets manages to make its near 10-minute runtime feel incredibly short. Number 5. You Really Got Me, The Kinks. Although most music historians point to the late 70s as the point where punk rock began to explode into the public consciousness, its origins can actually be traced back much further. Case in point, You Really Got Me by The Kinks, a classic rock track that really doesn't sound anything like other classic rock tracks of the day. That's got a lot to do with the aggressive main riff and how unique this approach was in the early to mid-60s.
Yeah, you really got me done. Got me so I don't know what I'm doing.
The Kinks experimented with a lot of styles, from psychedelia to pop, but You Really Got Me is straight, pissed, and to the point. A perfect jump-off for similar attitudes explored by punk rock nearly a decade later. Number 4, Layla, Derek and the Dominoes. Songwriting is a beautiful thing, especially when it works this well. Layla was one of those lightning in a bottle moments where the members of supergroup Derek and the Dominoes got a little help from their friends and created a classic rock anthem in the process.
You got me on my knees.
That striking opening riff gets things going right away, of course. But the real brilliant move is how Layla then quickly changes key for the main verse.
Tried to give you consolation. Oh man, let you down.
This decision makes the second section sound even more urgent and powerful before that opening riff comes back for the chorus.
Got me on my knees, begging, darling, please.
As if that wasn't enough, that iconic piano exit smooths down everything after a blistering solo section from Eric Clapton and guest Duane Allman. It's pure rock genius. Number 3, I Can't Get No Satisfaction, The Rolling Stones. When you think of the Rolling Stones and iconic riffs, 2 particular songs come to mind. One of them is Start Me Up, and perhaps even more popular is the band's famous hit, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. Keith Richards is never going to win any awards for flashy guitar heroics, but he doesn't need to, because the main riff here is simple but oh so memorable. It's a punchy lick that works great with Mick Jagger's unique vocals and honestly never wears out its welcome. There isn't much deviation here with regards to arrangement, but when the riff is this good, why not hammer that sucker home for all it's worth? Number 2, Smoke on the Water, Deep Purple. Does Deep Purple have better riffs than Smoke on the Water? Maybe. Does Deep Purple have more complex riffs than Smoke on the Water? Definitely. But that doesn't make our penultimate pick any less iconic. After all, the band was already firmly entrenched as a force for British psychedelia, prog, and heavy rock when they released Smoke on the Water back in 1972. However, it only took the magic of Ritchie Blackmore's playing to turn what's essentially a basic blues riff into the early formations of heavy metal. It's monolithic, lumbering, and oh so majestic in its simplicity, and so it's naturally been covered to pieces by adoring bands all over the world. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Heartbreaker, Led Zeppelin. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. Led Zeppelin have repeatedly faced accusations that they, well, let's say, were overly inspired by riff ideas from other artists. We'd argue, however, does that really matter when the end results are this good? Take your pick. It could be Whole Lotta Love.
You need cooling, baby, I'm not fooling.
Or Immigrant Song. Or it could be our top choice, Heartbreaker, a twisted jam that's barely hanging on, but it's in the best possible way. Jimmy Page's opening riff is stumbling and messy, but possesses awesome, intense drive. It's steeped in Page's love of American blues, but amplified to oblivion and turned into an amazing, hydra-headed proto-metal behemoth.
So when you call me another guy's name, when I try to make love to you.
What to you makes a truly great riff? Let us know in the comments.
Run your mouth when I'm not around. It's easy to achieve.